Ever had this happen to you? Your wife goes to a friend's house, sees some cool holiday decorations, comes home and says, "Hey husband, please make that for me." Well, that happened to me this week. So today in this very crowded garage, we're making pumpkins.
First, you got to start with the wood. So I went with a 4x4 of cedar, my personal favorite wood, chopped it up into a couple of pieces and threw it on the drill press. Bored out a couple of holes, not very deep. These are about an inch deep into the wood. Wasn't that difficult because cedar, if you ever worked with it, you know it's pretty soft and easy to cut. So afterwards, a couple of holes in each of my 4x4 blocks, and then it was time for copper pipe. I cut those into about 4-inch pieces, which then became the stems. Be careful cutting that, it gets pretty sharp. Grabbed an orange, loved this color, wasn't too deep, wasn't too yellowy either, so it really was perfect for pumpkins. Just dabbed it on there with a foam brush. Don't do anything crazy, it's just take your time, make it covered. I left the tops barren, I like the wood color. You can do whatever you want. And then I took some sandpaper to it. You can see on the left, that was before it was sanded. You look on the right, that was after it was sanded, about 60 grit. Really up to you, but I kind of like the scuffed up version of it. It's kind of appealing, kind of cute. And the finished piece, I was pretty proud of. We put it on the table. My wife was thrilled. Put it next to a bunch of other pumpkin type of decorations that she had laying around for Thanksgiving. And voila, it was that easy. The entire project probably took me less than an hour. Just grabbed an old 4x4, cut it into pieces, dressed it up with some paint, sanded it down a little bit, put some leather straps on the top. That was pretty simple. And there you are. A really cool reminder to put on your table for Thanksgiving that you have so many things to be thankful for.
My family and I had an opportunity to go to Tennessee this past year, and we got to go hiking and just see the beauty of God's creation. But one of the coolest moments was when we went and took a trip to Sevierville, Tennessee, and we went to a farm that had pumpkins. You got a chance to go there and pick out your own pumpkins. And one of the coolest parts of that trip was actually seeing them grow on the vine. So I'm making some pumpkins here, and you know, this is something my wife wants to put on the table, and it'll be pretty and it'll be neat to have there as the centerpiece. But every time I look at it, I'm going to think of this verse from John chapter 15. Jesus says, "I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You are already clean because of the word I have spoken to you." And then verse 4 is my favorite. "Remain in me, and I will remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me." And when we were walking through that field, looking at all those different pumpkins, one of the neat things was how beautiful the pumpkins looked when they were attached to the vine. Plump, orange, amazingly round. And how gross and disgusting the pumpkins looked who had been severed and pulled off the vine. Maybe someone stepped on it, maybe someone pulled it, decided they didn't want to keep that pumpkin, left it on the ground, and it quickly withered and died, and nobody wanted it anymore. It's the same thing in Jesus' words here. You have to produce fruit only by being connected to the vine. Jesus is the vine, the true vine, as it says here in John chapter 15. If you disconnect from Jesus, no matter how hard you try, you're going to rot. You're not going to produce any more fruit. You're going to decay and rot away. We don't want that. We want to remain in the vine, to be fruitful and productive for Christ in this world. That's what I'm going to think about when I look at these pumpkins. We're going to put them on the table. It's going to be a cool thing to see. But mostly we're going to sit back and look at all the ways that we have been able to produce fruit, only because we're connected to the source of nutrients, the source of life, and of course, we know that to be Jesus. So if you're going to celebrate Thanksgiving this year, do so with a thankful, grateful, happy heart, but also do so remembering that everything we produce is only possible because we're connected to the vine.